How's it going, my Wolfpack? It's Walaxy Wolf here. To whoever's new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And you can also follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, TikTok, and Twitch. And Wolfpack, you can also follow me on my merch store as well. So Wolfpack, we're down here at the Cottesloe Civic Centre today, Wolfpack. So yeah, Wolfpack, you've probably seen just behind me there's some photographs. So I finally found and researched my great grandfathers that were around in the World War times, and also that fought in the World War times, Wolfpack. So as you see on the left hand side, you have George. This is George, my great-great-grandfather. Now, I'm still trying to find out and research, trying to find out about what George actually did in World War One. And on the right-hand side, we have Daniel. This is my other great-great-grandfather as well. So I do know what happened to Daniel. I just don't know what has happened to George. But eventually, hopefully I'll get that all soon. It's not easy. Just take them with me. It's not easy doing these research. I'm just gonna, before I do start talking again, I need to watch where I'm stepping as well. I'm just slowly just gonna get back onto the road here, and then I'll tell you a story about my great-great-grandfathers. Oh, just one of them is Daniel. I'll talk about what Daniel did and what happened, and from beginning to sort of end. But there'll probably be maybe more stories about them to come anyway. So yeah, make sure to stay tuned for that anyway. But let me put Daniel above George. But yes, this is Daniel. We're going to be talking about Daniel today. And yeah, so Daniel was in the Royal Welsh Fusiliers back in World War One, and Royal Welsh Fusiliers started back in 1689 and ended sort of during the I think the Afghan War, the war that actually, the failed war actually. It was a big failure when they finished in 2021, because the Taliban actually roamed all over the place. But we're going to talk about World War One. So Daniel was a sergeant. He was a British soldier of the Royal Welsh Fusiliers in England, and around in the 1914, I'd say it was probably around the beginning of October, him, sergeant of 50 to 100 men, Daniel was. So he was a sergeant to 50 to 100 men. And, you know, they're on the ships, and maybe they got somewhere in, so they got off the ship in the battleship or off in Belgium, just up north on the oceans there, and made his way south. So when he was making his way south with the men, he made his way into a town called Ypres. No, it doesn't start with an E, it starts with a Y. So if you put in Google YPRES, that's where he would have saw a town hall building that's, you know, has been demolished quite a few times during the world wars. but refurbished to look what it exactly what it looks like as much as they could. But he would have saw that building and one of the churches as well, but it was quite an open space there back in World War One. But there's a lot of, I do want to go over to Ypres and see that town hall and where he is in Belgium, because that's where he is. And yeah, that town hall there, it's got bullet wounds on one of its it's like something like this but with bullet wounds in, and it's still there. So but Daniel would have seen that on October, probably whenever it started, the first battle of Ypres, but on the 22nd. So there up north there was a platoon that had a straight line, and then I'll probably walk back actually, and then my great-great-grandfather Daniel's platoon was sort of on a sideway line, and they were holding their line. So two of those platoons were holding their line, but the platoon, because they were in the middle, and then the platoon that was on the south, they had a straight line. They were losing their line to the Germans. So when they were losing their line, Daniel and the 50 and 100 men, he said, come on boys. You know, the sergeant is the good one. The sergeant is where, you know, keeps all the soldiers calm and everything. Let's do this together. You know, you give us cover fire and then we'll give you cover fire, and then we just run and then just cover fire, cover fire, cover fire. Just, you know, that's what Daniel would have been doing. The other one that's above him would have been like, oh, don't you run backwards or we'll shoot you. You know, that's what it was like during the wars. You know, if you run backwards and if you run away, we'll shoot you. That's their own allies as well. But Daniel, he was keeping all the soldiers calm and saying, let's do this together. Let's hold the line. Give us cover fire and then we'll give you cover fire. But because the south platoon was losing their line, they had to fill in. So I don't know what happened with the south line, if they had a lot of defense cover, you know, with the big guns, you know, shooting back the actual guys and whatnot, and people actually shooting, you know, with machine guns. Otherwise, that's probably where they lost, if they didn't use their big guns or if they weren't shooting. That's probably where the south line lost a lot of men. If not, maybe what happened on the south line, maybe they were running towards the enemy. It's very complicated strategies in war, but that's probably another thing they lost. So either they weren't shooting their guns or the big guns, and or if they just started running over the line, but they should not done that, just play defense. It's just a strategy in war. And so yeah, Daniel and he told 50 to 100 men, let's you know, let's cover this south line and let's protect him. So he did, and that's probably where he died, was just trying to protect that line from the Germans for, you know, breaking that line. So you never lose your line, you always stay your line. But yeah, that's probably where he died, in October 30th of 1914 in the World War I. So yeah, so I thought I'd make a little video of my great-great-grandfather Wolfpack, and yeah, my George is just behind Daniel there. But yeah, that's it for today's video, Wolfpack. So remember, together Forever, Wolfpack.
Would be an awful big adventure.